How do you actually use the Pinterest Trends tool in your favor? Well, there are a myriad of different ways that you can actually use Pinterest Trends, but in today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to use Pinterest Trends to plan content for your business. And that content output is going to look like more Pinterest pins. It could also look like blog posts that you create or videos that you make for other platforms, but eventually repurpose onto Pinterest too. So this isn't just siloed to blog posts that you can make on your own website. However, that is a really good place to start when using Pinterest Trends. So without further ado, let's hop on into the computer and I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like. So to get started, the very first thing that I want you to focus on is obviously what is your niche, who is your audience, and what are their pain points. And then the next set of 3 things that I want you to focus on are the content you already have in your library, or is this something you want to make? And then what products do you have? So perhaps create a page like this one and just dump that information into the template so you can actually map the current trends with content that you actually want to create. So what I've done here is I've pre-filled a couple of these boxes to kind of give you an idea of what this is going to look like. What I've done is I found trends on Pinterest and I popped them in. And then I have a column here that is a matching product or freebie that we have in the business that we want to promote along the lines of that. I actually want to add a new column. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in like a pin title or content title. Okay. So what we can do is we can start to take these pieces of content that are trends and we can make it into future content, whether this is going to be content on our website or Pinterest pins. So let's actually first start with Pinterest so I can show you how I found all of this information. Now, if you need a full tutorial on how to use the Trends tool, there is one here on the channel. You can go and check that out. We're not going to use the search bar up above. We're actually going to use this one down below. Now, I want you to set your Trends tool up like mine. I always navigate over to top yearly trends. It's always going to default to growing trends. To pop it over to top yearly because I want to see what's happening all year long. And then what I want you to do is pop a keyword in. So remember how we have our pain points here and we have a few content ideas already here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to search for meal planning. I know that is a piece of struggle for my ideal client in this scenario or ideal customer. So I'm going to search for that and we're going to see what comes up. So we see budget meal planning here. That's actually a good topic. And then meal planning ideas. And look here, meal planning printables. So I'm going to open all 3 of those up. Now I've got this here, budget meal planning. And then there's some related trends here. I want you to pay attention to these. Now there's a little trick that I like to use that a lot of people don't pay attention to. If you want the platform to tell you ideas and give them to you, you need to keep adding them into the comparison. And then you can see here, it's given you additional related trends related to the one in green. So if you notice, they're going to change as I add secondary options. And there's even going to be additional ones behind the little arrow. So I want you to pay attention to that. So under budget meal planning, people are looking for weekly meal planning for families. So let's actually go in here and do a pin title. Let's come up with a pin title. So how to use budget meal planning for X, Y, and Z. Put in your promise. That is a pin title or a piece of content you can create on your website. Now, if you go back to that, you can see that people were looking for meal planning printables. I think it's this one here. Ideally in our business, if we are in the business of selling digital products and things, and this is a topic we want to cover or we can cover, we would already have a freebie or a product we can promote on that line. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in, like this is my weekly meal planning sheet that I'm going to create pins for. Now you can create titles for these pins that are simple. So budget meal planning can be your main pin title, and then your secondary meal plan or pin title can be weekly meal planning sheet. like that. So main pin title, secondary pin title. Okay, let's move on. So in this section, so how to budget your for your weekly meal plan, off of this trend right here is a secondary piece of content that we can create. Now, maybe you have an actual budgeting calculator that you give away in the business. So that can be the freebie here. And then the pin title can quite literally be the same even as your blog title if you create a blog post on this. It can also be something similar. So if this is the trend, so let's actually just use this one. How to budget for your weekly meal plan. And you can see here there's infographics, there's standard pins, there's products, all sorts of things are coming up here. But then that can also be your pin title, right? So maybe it's a 2 weeks. So how to budget for your bi-weekly meal plan, or your weekly meal plan, or your family meal plan. This is the secondary half of the trend. Okay. So back to our content planning sheet, there is another trend in here that I came up with that is similar. So it's on a similar thread, and it's finances. So in our trend planning, if we go back to our keywords, we clear out the meal planning option and we go into planning, financial planning comes up. And people are interested in financial planning, but even more than that, they're interested in budgeting. Financial planning is a big term. It feels fancy. It feels like something that somebody with a lot of money needs to worry about. Not something that I even, resonate with personally. But people do resonate with the term budgeting, or budgeting for beginners. So what we can look at is we can look at this trend. If I click financial education, it's going to give me stuff that doesn't really relate to what I want to talk about. If we click financial literacy, it's going to be similar, like financial freedom. Not really my vibe. So you can see here, okay, this is quickly like I can use this keyword, but it's really not hitting where I want it to hit. So that's kind of where we have to go back to the drawing board. How else would someone search for this? Budgeting. They're going to want to know how to budget their finances. So we're going to open that up, and we're going to open up a few of these like we did last time. We probably won't use them all. And we're going to look in here, and it's going to say how to budget, and it's going to say how to budget for beginners, money aesthetic, budget categories. That's a really interesting topic. I want to add that to my content planning. So the trend is budget categories, and the topic or the title is budget. What should my budget categories be? And then the financial component here, where you either make money or get an email, is a budgeting category list. Or maybe it's a budgeting for beginners. Maybe it's a budgeting for beginners freebie. Back to our ideas. I hope with this kind of process that you're seeing, you are kind of weaving together how you can make trends into content for your website. So finance tips, people are looking for finance tips, and related to that are those tricky ones. Again, the word finance keeps landing us in this very narrow bucket. If we go to budgeting for beginners, you can see that people are looking for printables. So that's actually something really easy we can do, because we have printables that we can give away in our business. So the topic is budgeting finances printables free. So it's going to be free. Budgeting finances printables, and then we can come up with a topic for this. So maybe it's 5 free budgeting printables you need in your life. Now this can be a pin title for existing content or existing freebies that you want to give away and get people on your email list for, or new content you can create. Now, a couple of rules that I want you to follow. Trends should always, you should jump on them 45 to 90 days in advance. I do quarterly trends research for clients, and I'm looking for the quarter ahead. And I'm always mid-quarter when I do research. So I'm looking at Q2 research right now when I'm filming this video for my clients. 45 to 90 days in advance is going to get you in on a trend as it's happening. So really, if you see the trend really low right here, that's when you want to be in on it. You don't want to be in on it when it's at its peak. You're not likely going to show up in the trend at that time. 45 to 90 days in advance. You can use these Pinterest trends, these words, as keywords and topics to create content on your website or promote content that you already have. Content in the form of free products or free offers, paid products that you sell, courses, digital products, and the like. And also just blog posts or YouTube videos, whatever you have. If you have videos that you want to repurpose to Pinterest and use these Pinterest trends keywords in place, like in the pin titles and the pin descriptions, you can do that as well. Now, again, if you want to learn how to use the Pinterest trends tool in depth, make sure to visit that video. But essentially, you just want to take these trend ideas and spin them into pieces of content.